Hi, I'm Dave Grease from ESU 13, and this is Pep Talks, the monthly video series full of strategies, encouragement, and sometimes challenges that remind you that the little things that parents do can make a huge impact on students and schools. The name of this month's Pep Talk is The Power of I statements. So when I was in the classroom, one of my favorite things to do was to pass out the textbook for the first time. And when I would give the students the textbook for the first time, they were always curious to see what was in there. And so I gave them some time to look through it and just to get an idea of what was in there, look for things that might interest them. And I always had them either share out with me in the class or get into small groups and just point out things that they notice, right? Things that they noticed, things that they were interested, things that they'd seen. I notice statements. They're one of those small shifts in our words, saying I notice. Okay, it's one of those small shifts in our words that can make a big difference in our relationships with each other and with our students. So again, I notice statements, they're just a small shift, but they can add calm to situations. They can help you build trust. They can make students and other adults seem more notice. When we use I notice statements, it takes judgment out of conversations and replaces it with awareness. We're going to learn a little bit more about I notice statements, and we're going to do that in the classroom. Let's go there right now.
Today, we're going to talk about one of the simplest, most powerful communication tools we can use as paras. I notice statements. Here's what they are. They're short statements that describe exactly what we see without judgment, without blame, and without assuming anything about the student or the situation. When we say things like, I notice you're looking away from your work, or I notice you helped a friend pick up their things, we're just naming what's happening. And naming things calmly does a few important things. First of all, it helps students feel seen instead of criticized. Next, it keeps situations from becoming power struggles when they don't need to be. And third, it builds trust because our language feels safe and neutral. So think of an I statement as like a gentle spotlight, just bringing attention to a behavior, an effort, or an emotion without putting pressure on the student. It's a small shift in wording, but it opens the door for connection, problem solving, and positive behavior. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through how these statements work, why they're effective, and how to use them with both students and adults. But it all starts with this simple idea: just describe what you see. I notice reduces defensiveness. So instead of saying, why aren't you working? You might say, I notice your book is closed. It still names the behavior, but it does it without blame. Students and adults will feel less attacked with that kind of a statement and will be more willing to respond. I notice builds connection by showing you're paying attention. Children often behave better for adults who see them. So you might use an I notice statement like, I notice you kept trying even when it was hard. Or, I notice you moved to a quieter spot to calm yourself down. Good move. This boosts motivation and trust, especially for students who rarely hear positive observations about their behavior. I notice helps redirect behavior without calling out character. We're describing what we see, not who they are. Instead of, you're being rude, or even worse, why are you so rude? Try, I notice your voice got louder just now. This keeps the conversation focused on behavior and, most importantly, next steps and growth. I notice supports collaboration with teachers and adults. It also helps paras communicate professionally. Instead of, the plan you gave me didn't work, try, I noticed when we tried that strategy, the students didn't respond like we expected. This opens the door to problem solving rather than blame or more conflict. I notice statements are especially powerful when you're noticing and naming positive behaviors. As we mentioned before, children often behave better for adults who see them, especially for students who oftentimes get seen as the naughty kids or the behavior kids or the problem kids. I notice statements can be especially powerful when you catch them doing the positives. So try this when you're dealing with those kids that sometimes struggle. I noticed today you came in really quietly. I notice you're doing a great job of keeping your hands to yourself. Wow, I noticed that you and your partner, you were able to solve that disagreement quickly. Or maybe, I noticed this worked really well yesterday. Would you like to try that again? Because I want you to have a great day today too.
I notice statements are simple, calm, and can be very powerful. They help us see the good. They help us address the hard moments with a little less conflict, and they help us build stronger relationships, one interaction at a time. So here's the challenge. This week, try using one I notice statement each day. Notice what changes in your students, in your coworkers, and even in yourself. Thanks for watching. This has been Dave Grease, ESU 13, and you're watching Pep Talks. Have a great day.